Oh, it's another day here at the Comeback Team Studios. This is your host, Bek Lover, and you're watching another episode of Interesting Times with Bek Lover on the Bek Lover Podcast. Today, we're going to dive into some very interesting new information that's hit the cyber world, I guess, as you could say, the internet. We have a big disclosure by Dr. Stephen Greer. And for those of you that believe in extraterrestrial life, aliens, UFOs, you're going to want to pay attention on this very short and interesting episode that I'm hosting. So let's jump right into the headlines. But make sure you hit that subscribe button and stay tuned here with your boy, Bek Lover, bringing you all the interesting stories around the world. Interesting times indeed, my friends. We've had a catastrophic disclosure by the world's leading UFOologist, Dr. Stephen Greer, someone that I had the pleasure of speaking with on Clubhouse, the audio app, during the shutdown of the world. He ended up following me on that app, and I had many debates with him on the topic of extraterrestrial life, UFOs, aliens, interdimensional beings, and the demonic realm. For those of you that don't know who Mr. Greer is, Stephen Greer is an American UFOologist and retired physician who founded the Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence and the Disclosure Project, which seeks the disclosure of alleged classified UFO information. He's been working on this for over 3 decades, and he's considered the leading expert in the world. Impossible UFOs, alien encounters of the fifth kind. Again, make sure you hit the subscribe button. You never know what I'm going to talk about on my show. You never know what kind of guest I'm going to have. You never know where the conversation will go. But I can promise you one thing. You just might learn a thing or two about this life, another life, the afterlife, another world, current events. You get it all here, folks. You get the buffet of existence. So make sure you hit the sub button. Support my work, man. No one helps me. You're the only ones that help me. You're the reason I broke the internet many times. Check out my episode this week. I appeared on the Brad Lee Dropping Bombs podcast. That's Brad Lee, the famous motivational speaker and businessman. He's mad cool. He's got one of the biggest podcasts out. I was just on his show. I'll also be appearing on Nino Rodriguez, the former heavyweight boxing champion of the world. I'm on his podcast being released tomorrow, Thursday, May 16th, 2024. You never know whose show I'm going to be on. So make sure you head out there, check all that out, guys, and let's jump into this massive announcement. So first and foremost, Dr. Greer has released the dpiarchive.com. So that's D like David, P like Paul, I, archive.com. This will take you to his website that he has just released a few days ago. I did a deep dive on his episode explaining what this whole archive is about. And for those of you that have been waiting for disclosure, this is his entire life work compiled into a massive archive, free of charge. So if you're someone that's interested in the UFO community, aliens, extraterrestrial encounters of the fifth kind, then you need to do a deep dive into this website before maybe it gets taken down. Supposedly he's released classified information that wasn't classified, whistleblowers. And in some of his explanations on the episode that I did a deep dive on, people have risked their lives to bring this information forward. And basically what it sounds like Dr. Greer is trying to do is to organize worldwide one place where anyone that has information about UFOs, UAPs, extraterrestrial life, alien life, interdimensional beings, they can gather their information here. This will force people in power to really talk about what's going on or maybe what's been kept secret. And it's all here. Now, I'm going to play some clips from his episode so you can understand just how important and life-threatening this situation may be for Dr. Greer and others who seem to come forward with information about extraterrestrial and alien life. So let's take out... Let's play a few of these clips and then we'll do a deep dive into it.
So what I started doing about a little over 2 years ago well, 2.5, was to begin to digitize everything we have and everything that's in other archives in a massive project. So it's been 34 years in the making. You'll see things from 1990 all the way to very current. And they're organized in, there'll be 14 categories. So that site is live right now. So it's dpiarchive.com. And it has, I believe, 112 top secret military, corporate intelligence, whistleblowers testimony in it, unmasked with their names. It has another 650 mass names that can be subpoenaed or investigated should the Congress pivot to that. But what you'll see for that list is the master witness list is a little synopsis of what they know or what they're going to testify to. But their names are redacted because these are people who don't want to be known by the public yet. And this list is going to keep growing. So to give you an idea of how extensive this is, there's also all the correspondence between me and all these hundreds of whistleblowers, but their emails and names are blacked out if they're someone who's still confidential. But if it's someone disclosed, you'll see who they are. And that began in the early 1990s, around the time I briefed the director of the CIA for Bill Clinton. So this is a massive dump of intelligence and information. It also has 151, I believe it is, black sites, locations where operations have occurred, a map, as well as a list and description. It has thousands of pages of government documents from the U.S., U.K., Australia, KGBs, former Soviet Union, et cetera. I will tell everyone, let me just say a headline right here. I was just up on Capitol Hill last week meeting with members of the House Oversight Committee and members of Congress, and quite frankly, I told them, if they had hearings that started at 9 a.m. and went till 5 p.m. every day they're in session for the next year, it would be less than 10% of what's in this archive.
So you hear it there, folks. This is the largest dump in the history of the UFO movement, the ET movement, alien life, people searching for the truth. Are they really out there? This is the largest drop of information, collection of information, the course of many, many decades, has just been released on dpiarchive.com by the world famous Dr. Stephen Greer. If you're into the whole alien discussion, aliens, extraterrestrials, UFOs, it's all here. Everything he's ever worked on, every email he's ever sent, every whistleblower he's ever spoken to, it's all there. So when we pull up the website, as you can see here, how I broke it down, you have it all listed here. Albert Chop, radar operator, UFO incident, United States. Jonathan Wigan, Marine Corps crash, retrieval, Bolivia, Peru border. Robert Salas, Malmstrom, supporting documents, March 24th, 1967. Robert Sabaker, United States, Washington Institute of Technology, ET crash material. It's all here, folks. Tons and tons and tons of documents, videos, discussions, emails, witness testimony, whistleblowers, pictures. There's even some things that I found crazy, and I'll pull up in a second. But I want to do a couple more takes on what he's been working on. And again, back to this video where he discusses this entire treasure trove of information for anyone that's interested in the UAP movement. And of course, I clicked the wrong button because that's what I do. But here we go.
Constitutional. And when I first started doing that way back, everyone laughs about this particular case because it's very iconic, is that when I had a national security agency operative lift out of the quote unquote vault the top secret transcript of James Jesus Angleton summarizing what Marilyn Monroe was threatening to do to hold a press conference to tell the world about all this.
Did you hear what he said? There's documents, I pulled them up, about Marilyn Monroe was supposedly going to come forward and tell the whole world about what she knew about extraterrestrial life and alien life. And coincidentally, a few days later, she became not alive anymore. That's what this guy's basically claiming, documents to prove it, emails. I don't know. That's what's on this archive, guys.
After she'd had her affair with President Kennedy, and then she was killed 2 days later. That document's been studied. It's authentic. It's still top secret. And there are others like that in there now. So anyone who wants to look at it can see it. It's in a PDF. You can read it. It's free and open to the public. This is an extraordinary. I will be very blunt. If you take the time and the money, the travel, everything that's gone into making this archive, the millions of miles flying and interviewing people, acquiring all this material, it's at least $20 million in content we're giving for free. So that's why we're asking people to support the crowdfunding so the archive doesn't have to be shut down. And
all I had to do was put an email in and I was granted access. It's completely free. He's saying there's $20 million worth of content and information for anyone that's interested in learning more about his work. The history of UFOs, aliens, all that stuff is in this thing, man. And who knows how long it'll be up. So if you're into this type of stuff, I highly recommend you check out Dr. Greer's work. Again, most of you that are into this, you know who he is. If you don't, then you know nothing about the UFO movement and the ET movement, for full disclosure. And that's basically all he says he's working for. He's working to make the people that know supposedly, what's really happening, to come forward and tell the world and the American people. Now, you guys know I believe in a more nefarious agenda. I do not believe in aliens the way this guy does, or maybe the way he's leading us to believe. Maybe that's his goal. I believe in interdimensional demonic beings, the devil's realm, who tries to fool humanity, and people that fall for these types of narrations will be deceived in the end of times, is my opinion. There's documents of all this stuff. So he was just talking about Marilyn Monroe. Here's the document on his archive, Disclosure Project Intelligence Archive. It says here in this email to Marilyn Monroe document, hi, the Monroe document has been authenticated by 2 high-ranking 3-letter agency employees. Your comments, somebody doesn't want Roswell to go away, rings true when you look at all the evidence that has been surfacing. The Monroe document is yet another piece of evidence that illustrates that certain individuals from the inside of our leaders want to release information to the public. Thank you for your interest. This document will be Library 7 by the end of this week for people to view and read. Sincerely, Encounters Stuff. And then there was another one, if I'm not mistaken. There's another one here. Shows that this is regarding Marilyn Monroe. During our recent conversation, we discussed several issues. This email is dated back to January 20th, 2000. One in particular was a response I received from the 3-letter agency regarding the document authored by James Angleton mentioning Marilyn Monroe and Dorothy Killigan. Late last year, the 3-letter agency responded by my Freedom of Information Act request on the subject, implying that the document was not authentic. I wrote back asking them to clarify their position. Yesterday, I received a response stating that they are not taking any position as to the document's authenticity. Interestingly, I can't even talk, but not a surprising, they originally responded stating they conducted a thorough search and could not locate the document anywhere in the 3-letter agency's holdings. Well, I pressed the issue, and now they say they'll conduct a search if I pay the search fee. I issued them a letter stating I would pay the fee, and I'll let you know how it turns out. Regards. And then again, guys, I mean, interesting stuff on here, extraordinary claims. And he also goes on to claim, besides giving you $20 million worth of content regarding the extraterrestrial alien UFO, UAP, world that everyone's, debating and talking on, he says that they've basically risked their lives. Many have risked their lives to bring this information forward. Sounds like a alien WikiLeaks, basically. But let's see what else he has to say regarding that subject matter in his last post.
He's been going back and forth with a man who used to be the chairman of a Fortune 50 company that dealt with this issue. Big corporation. Chairman, not a worker bee. He has documents. He has propulsion system drawings. He has energy system drawings. Now, he's up there in years, pushing 80, and he wants to come forward. But after he reached out to me, he had a man that he had worked with for years who was clandestine say, look, they will kill not just you, but all your children and grandchildren. Now, this has happened to us multiple times. Now, the members of Congress are really slow at realizing that this is true. I think Mr. Burchett and Moskowitz and perhaps Luna do. Others think it can't be possible, that things would be that out of control, but they are. Luckily, the people who have been special operators, special forces, people in very key places that I've been meeting with now understand that absolutely is the case. And so as of June 20th this year, which is in a little over a month, we will have in place the ability to put this kind of OPSEC, operational security, around high-value whistleblowers. And that is a big game changer that did not exist for the last 80 years. So one of the reasons I'm disclosing that right now is that if there are people sitting out there, and there are, waiting to see if that would be put in place, it is. It is organized. It will be fully operational by June 20th. And I cannot say what agencies and entities are standing this up, but it's very powerful, and it's a SAP. It's a special access project. So now I know all those involved with it can vouch for their integrity and their sincerity. So if you are a whistleblower who has information, documents, worked in a situation over some period of time where you feel that you need that kind of security, please contact me, and we will make that happen for you. But it won't be until after June 20th.
So as you can see here, it's basically like a UFO leaks. He's creating a safe haven for anybody that wants to come forward, anyone that has information. He claims that these people's lives, whistleblowers' lives, are in danger if they reveal this stuff. My question always is, how did these people live? How does he live for 30 years if they're taking people out left and right? This is what I never understood about people like AJ, who has that website that's the most banned in the world. These people that seem to be putting out all this truth, supposedly, how do they not get taken out? I never understand that part. And you can't say, oh, because, they have protection now and this and that. Let's be real. When these people want you, they got you. That's number one. Number two, how do they let you live for 30 years? You're not surviving 30 years when the most powerful people with all this type of tech, supposedly alien tech, they'll take you out. So how is he still breathing? And that's the point where they kind of lose me, some of these guys. Are they controlled op? Do you believe the narrative? I don't believe that there's aliens. I believe we are the aliens. We are the ones that fell from the heavens. And there is an agenda to convince humanity that they were created by aliens. So as far as my beliefs are concerned, he plays right into that. So you can check out my other episodes. I've spoke about this on many shows. I believe there's a demonic agenda to convince humanity they were created by aliens and not by God. He plays right into this agenda. Period. Let's see what else he had to say. Of course, I X'd it out. No, I didn't. And here's the last part of this little video that he made explaining the whole DPIarchive.com. But like I said, he's creating a safe haven where anyone can come forward. They're going to protect you. You can dump all this information. I believe it's just another massive step to convincing humanity all this stuff is real, the way they want you to believe. The same institutions he claims to not be, working with. But meanwhile, he's talking to presidents and all this stuff. I mean, that's why it just doesn't make any sense to me. If they're trying to hide the information, and how did he talk to all these presidents and all these committees? It's just weird to me. Let's see.
Over them and said, if you take one more step towards disclosing what you worked on and where it was, you will be in prison for the rest of your natural life and you will never see your two young children again. That actually happens to my people. So this is not a conspiracy theory for all the jackasses who think that this group is a bunch of, blowhards. This is the dirty tricks they do. Now, let's say that same thing were to happen after June 20th, and I hand off this high value source. Anyone who would show up and do something like that, they're going to see who they are, and they're going to go grab them up, and they will open a criminal file. Listen to me, folks. This is serious. They will open a criminal file on anyone who pulls a dirty stunt like that. See, this hasn't been in existence in the 80 years of this cover-up, and now it is, starting June 20th. So now, if you were ever on the fence about what you should do, speak the truth and be on the right side of history, it's time to reach out to us now and do it.
Time to step up, guys.
It is time to step up.
Yeah.
So like I said, he's basically created a UFO leaks where anyone can come and disclose information they have, no matter how high, how low. Supposedly going to be able to protect you after June 20th. If you have information about UFOs, aliens, encounters of the fifth kind, you've witnessed these things, you've worked for certain agencies and you've seen this stuff and you're scared to come forward, supposedly Dr. Greer is going to be able to protect you and get the information out to the world. To me, it seems like one step further in a new world. You know what? I don't buy it. I believe we are the fallen. I believe in interdimensional demonic beings. I believe their agenda has moved forward. I believe they figured a way to come into this dimension, and that's why there's all this declassification, why all this information is being released to precondition humanity for the final step, to accept deception, to neglect their creator. You guys can think I'm a religious nut, but I'm not. I've been studying this for over 30 years. It just doesn't add up. And this other guy, Bill Carson, I may not be an expert as much as he is in certain historical terms, but he buys into the whole Anunnaki bullshit. The demonic realm has been on this earth since before humanity ever existed. We know more about them than all of you putting your aliens together, and you are falling right into their trap. And I'll debate him anytime, any place, anywhere. You heard it here first on Bek Lover Podcast. So, what do you think? Do you think that there's all this alien stuff? Now, another interesting thing that pulled up here was regarding, it was one of the documents on there, regarding September, when we had those horrible things happen in New York City, says that there was, this document I found interesting. As mentioned above, one mundane explanation for present results is that the world events that captured mass human attention were associated with unusual surges of electrical power and the use of telecommunications equipment. And this is in turn might have created unusual environmental conditions that influence the RNGs. Now, what does RNG mean? I do not know. But in this document, it says in the case of September, the number that comes after 10, September, the number that comes after 10, the cross RNG variants peaked over an hour before the events began to unfold on September, one day after the 10th. Okay? There's documents discussing this stuff. What does that have to do with aliens? Supernatural. It's all here. It's broken down. These are just some of the documents that Dr. Greer has released. Fascinating stuff. I haven't even scratched the surface. There's just tons of stuff to go through. Thousands and thousands of hours of discussions and forums and videos and emails and pictures and witnesses and testimony. If you are into this whole subject matter, you need to get over there before you can't. It is now Alien, aka UFO Leaks, hosted by Dr. Greer. That's for all of you that are out there. So if you've enjoyed this episode, make sure you subscribe, because you never know what I'm going to talk about next. But I promise you one thing, you're going to learn a thing or two about life. This is your boy Bek Lover, and you're watching the Bek Lover Podcast. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Follow me on social media, discuss. I respond to a lot of your DMs. I respond to your comments. I'm an interactive man on the social media waves. Check out all the episodes I told you about earlier, and we'll see you next time on the Bek Lover Podcast, where you might just learn a thing or two about life. Till the next time, it's Bek Lover signing off.